WVEC-TV, Plan.
Time for Hutton's Wave or Two, and here we go.
This is Jeff McKay, ABC News.
Mothballed ocean liner SS United States finally left its berth today for a trip down the Elizabeth River. The vessel will spend several days at Norshipco's Titan floating dry dock. Mac Lee has the story.
It took more than a decade to accomplish, but the sleeping giant is awake. The former flagship of U.S. lines, the SS United States, began its first voyage in 11 years, a 4-mile trip down the Elizabeth River. The 990-foot vessel, with the assistance of several tugboats, was moved from Norfolk International Terminals to the Norfolk Shipbuilding Company hull inspection. Last year, United States Cruises of Seattle put down a $1 million deposit for the ship with the U.S. Maritime Administration. Under the contract, the firm is scheduled to pay an additional $4 million on May 21st. But company officials say they would like a 300-day extension.
We've asked for the extension to allow us to complete our plans for working on the ship. As you can see, our planned renovations are quite substantial. They involve several new decks, several swimming pools, tennis courts, what have you, and we need a little extra time to get that completed.
Hilger says his company is prepared to pay the $4 million if the extension is denied. The ship conversion will cost more than $40 million, and much of the work will be done locally. The United States will serve as a cruise liner between the West Coast and Hawaii when completely renovated. The firm will retain the name SS United States and offer passengers 7 gourmet restaurants, 2 tennis courts, swimming pools, and a host of luxury appointments. The ship will spend the next 5 days at Norshipco and then return to its berth at Norfolk International Terminals. Conversion work is slated to begin within 4 to 6 months. And by the middle of 1981, the SS United States is expected to return to the seas. Mac Lee, 13 News, Norfolk.
U.S. Cruises Incorporated, the prospective owners of the ocean liner SS United States, found out today their $5 million investment is sound. The ship's hull is in excellent shape. Mac Lee has more.
For the past 5 days, Norshipco's Titan floating dry dock has served as home to the SS United States. The 990-foot former queen of the world's great passenger liners was placed in dry dock to undergo a $300,000 hull inspection. The inspection was designed to determine if the ship can return to service as a luxury liner between the West Coast and Hawaii. The move was the first for the United States in more than a decade, and the hull inspection is the first step in restoring the ship to service. U.S. Cruises officials say the Majestic Lady passed her first test with flying colors.
Our preliminary findings are that we're very, very pleased with what we found. The ship is in excellent shape, and it's a great credit to the Maritime Administration, and we're very pleased with what we found.
The United States is scheduled to return to ocean-going service in 1981. The ship will be converted at a cost of more than $40 million. Conversion work is scheduled to begin within 4 to 6 months, following a final payment of $4 million to the U.S. Maritime Administration. Now that the ship has passed its first inspection in more than a decade, the next step is to tow the United States back to its berth at Hawaii. Weather permitting, the return will get underway tomorrow morning, shortly after 10 o'clock. Mac Lee, 13 News.
After more than 10 years of sitting idly and barely noticed, this grand old lady is suddenly the object of 2 suitors, the U.S. government and a developer who's put up $2 million to buy her. But the Defense Department has informed the buyer, Richard Hadley, it may buy a luxury liner and convert it into a hospital ship for the military's rapid deployment force. Although Hadley's company, United States Cruises, has already put down a large down payment, it still owes $3 million. And the U.S. Maritime Administration says the sale won't be final until it receives the rest of the money. Because federal money went into its construction, the 29-year-old United States is part of the Naval Reserve Fleet. The Navy originally estimated it would cost about $30 million to convert the ship, but it could run higher. Cruises is planning to market the condominium, selling memberships for as much as $146,000. is also asking the federal government for $80 million in mortgage guarantees to refurbish the ship. Tom Calkenny, 13 News, Norfolk.
The SS United States is one of the largest ships built in this country, and in 1952, at $80 million, the most expensive. But the remodeling of the United States will have an even higher price tag, $125 million. Before plans for remodeling can even get off the ground, though, something has to be done with all the items on board, and that's where preparations for the largest auction in history comes in. For 7 days, starting Monday, 1 million items from the United States will go on sale, and for auction previewers, the mood is already being set. Mildred Warren of Newport News is one of those previewers. She took her first tour of the United States in 1952. Today, she went back aboard.
Everything was just beautiful on it. The ballroom was just out of this world. The red carpet and the luscious curtains and the great big piano.
Well, not only will that piano go for auction, but so will several others, along with blankets, chairs, glasses, and even old menus. According to Arlen Ettinger of Guernsey's auction house in New York, everything must go.
Well, we've spent a fortune, so we need to make a fortune to just break even, and we hope that we reach at least $2 or $3 million.
Like Mildred Warren, Ettinger is hoping those with memories of the United States will come for the auction, and for the rest of the week, these chairs will be filled. One of the guards described the auction as a way for the ship to go out with a bang, just like it came in over 30 years ago. Delmarie Cobb, 13 News in Norfolk.
She was elegant, luxurious, hostess to royalty and celebrity. This was the SS United States, the largest ship ever built in this country. She still holds the record for the fastest transatlantic crossing. She sits in port as she has for 15 years, waiting in rust and decay to come alive again.
$45, $50, $50 now. 45 is here and now, 50 fair warning at 45. Rep 45 to 120.
She came alive again in the minds of many as nearly 1 million items from on board were sold at auction to make way for the new owner's $125 million renovation. When Robert and Marguerite Bittrix of Baltimore were transferred to Europe in 1962, they and their 5 children traveled there on the SS United States.
Not only was she, in our opinion, one of the finest ships ever built, her staff, the crew members, treated us all so graciously that you just can't forget.
They hope to take home a memory that antique dealers don't snatch up, but bidders are paying as much as $1,200 for a dozen of the ship's plates. However, David Size of Denver got the first dozen for $200 less.
1,000 to bidder number 712. Thank you.
I've always liked ships all my life, and as a matter of fact, when I was growing up, I had a model of the SS United States in my bedroom, so this is a nice opportunity for me to have a piece of it.
A surgeon from Norfolk thinks he got the best deal of the day, $160 for 2 linen tablecloths and 48 napkins.
Some of the prices are high. I think I stole it, to be real honest with you. I'm very tickled with the prices.
What must this grand old dame think as her tangible memories are cataloged and sold to the highest bidder? Perhaps she knows that each lucky bidder is taking home a part of American ingenuity and a bit of America's past. Of all the items to be auctioned, people are doing the most talking about the ship's bell. It's not listed in the auction catalog, but we have learned that it will be sold, and it will be sold on Saturday. My guess is that it will bring at least $10,000. Catherine Barrett, 13 News, at Norfolk International Terminals.
Let's get this last one, gentlemen. Let's get hot. Let's get loose.
It's all got to go, down to the bare walls of the SS United States. This barber's chair was one of the last items to roll in to be auctioned for hundreds of dollars. Today's gathering was sparse, but those who did buy got some real bargains.
The menus we plan on framing for Christmas, we have a lot of friends that enjoy the United States and really like the ship. Kind of sad that it's being taken apart.
Ever since we moved to Virginia, I've watched the United States, and I wanted something off of it. Just one little thing. So I had to come today.
Although this auction has been going on for a week, this warehouse is still full of unsold items.
We found roughly several 100,000 items. It's very hard to predict exactly how many, but after we started lotting up for this auction, they were discovered underneath our original lots. So it's just been a mountain of goods.
The auction will go around the clock tomorrow on into Sunday. It will end when all items discovered have been sold. Alvita Ewell, 13 News, Norfolk.
Well, back in 1968, we took a trip from New York to France on the United States with the children, and we wanted to come and get some little mementos for them and for us.
Eleanor Cullen is like a lot of other people who want a piece of United States history. The desire in some of them is so strong they stayed well past midnight and returned at 9 in the morning. Silver, brass, and linens drew top dollar, especially if the items carried the ship's name or emblem. But with literally a boatload of memorabilia, a week of auctioning isn't enough.
I know we're going to have a lot of items left over. We might do a tag sale tomorrow. We might have a warehouse clearance. We're just not certain. We're open to suggestions, ideas. I think towards the end of the evening today, based on what we have left, we'll come to some sort of conclusion. People can call us here tomorrow.
The auctioneers don't know yet just how much money they've raised, but early estimates ran as high as $5 million. That's a drop in the bucket compared with the $125 million renovation job. A spokesman for the ship's owner says the United States will once again be a first-class cruise liner.
There'll be 7 restaurants of all different types of food, such as the French, Italian, English grill, and Polynesian. There'll be 7 cocktail lounges. 3 new pools are being added to the outside of the ship, with the best shopping facilities around. There'll be over a quarter of an acre of shopping center alone, athletic facilities, running track, tennis courts, you name it, we're going to have it on the ship.
It's a 2-year, 2-continent project. Although the refurbishing is being handled by a German company, much of the work must be done here in the United States in order for the cruise liner to remain an American flagship. That's important because only American flagships can carry passengers between 2 American ports, and the owners hope to cash in on that lucrative market. David Freeman, 13 News, Norfolk.
Despite more than $1 million of the ship's contents being sold, there's still a little of everything left, from typewriters to silver. Late this afternoon, Guernsey's auction company decided it will go in a tag sale at 10 o'clock Wednesday morning.
Hopefully it'll be an orderly fashion. People will be taking numbers and they'll get a chance to preview everything that we've got, and we will put a price on it, and hopefully it'll all go.
In the meantime, Mintz would like everyone who bought something in the auction to claim it. The biggest item, the ship's bell, was bought by Dr. Sarah Elizabeth Forbes of Newport News. She paid about $31,000 for it.
It's the spirit of the United States. It represents the golden liberty and freedom and the speed of the oceans, supremacy of design, and it was all born in its 996-foot keel was laid right in the great shipyard, Newport News Shipyard Dry Dock Company.
She says it will go on display first at the Peninsula SPCA office, then probably go to Newport News City Hall, and eventually to a restaurant in Nags Head.
After everything that's going to be sold the ship will go to the Caribbean. Whatever's left in it will be taken out there. It will then go to Germany for a 2-year, $125 million makeover. After that, the owners say it will sail again as the world's finest cruise ship. John Westling, 13 News, Norfolk International Terminals.
in the spirit of Hampton Roads. WVEC presents Jim Kincaid, Cynthia Lima, and Jeff Lawson. This is 13 News at 5:30.
And with that, the luxury liner United States starts her long journey to Turkey today and a new lease on life. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Mike Lewis.
And I'm Cynthia Lima. The SS United States left Hampton Roads for what could be the last time. Kathy Barnstorff was at the pier this morning for the big send-off.
It was the dawn of a new day for a grand old lady, the SS United States. The early morning light was kind to the 40-year-old ship. It's now a rusting shell. Its one-of-a-kind fittings sold at auction.
It's a shame that the ship was ripped apart the way she was and the way she's been, because it would have been a much easier job to refurbish her if they had left her as she should have been.
Leroy Alexanderson was the United States' last captain. His companion, one of the ship's new owners, who hoped to have the United States ship shape in 3 years.
It takes as long to build a new ship, but it's harder to build a ship that's already built, to rebuild a ship. It's more tedious work, it's harder work, and it needs craftsmanship.
Some craftsmanship was also needed to move the huge 990-foot-long, 12-story-high vessel. First, dozens of mooring lines had to be cut, and an experienced docking pilot put on board.
I'll go aboard and direct the tugs as we move out of the pier and down the channel. And anything the Schmidt tug needs, I'll be here to help him.
From the shore, it looked like the Dutch tugboat needed no help. The move away from the pier couldn't have been smoother. From the new Monitor Merrimack Bridge tunnel, it looked as simple as backing a car out of a driveway. The big difference? The emotion.
It's sad. It's just sad, that's all. Almost like going to a funeral.
Kathy Barnstorff, 13 News, Newport News.
The trip to her new temporary home, a Turkish shipyard, is expected to take about 35 days. We'll have more on the departure of the United States in our 6 o'clock report.
Working in the spirit of Hampton Roads. WVEC presents Jim Kincaid, Barbara Sierra, Jeff Lawson, and Scott Cadd. This is 13 News at 6.
Hampton Roads bids farewell to the SS United States.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cynthia Lima. Barbara has the night off.
And I'm Mike Lewis.
Our top story tonight, hundreds of people in Hampton Roads say goodbye to a once grand lady of the high seas. The SS United States is in the Atlantic Ocean tonight on her way to a Turkish shipyard. Kathy Barnstorff was there at first light when she pulled away from the pier.
Since I've been living down here, it's been a very sad day for me to see the ship in the condition that she's in.
Leroy Alexanderson summed up the feelings of most of the people who came to bid the SS United States farewell.
All the time takes its toll.
We thought we would get...
Some had worked on her when she was built at nearby Newport News shipbuilding 40 years ago. Others weren't even born then.
I just wanted to see it leave. So, a piece of history.
Do you have any history with it?
Not personally, no. I'm just interested in it.
Dozens of people shared that interest, but the 81-year-old Alexanderson has a special tie. He captained the passenger liner for 14 years until he laid her at anchor in 1969.
Every time I've gone out of Newport News, going to sea, I've been aboard the ship. So this will be the first time that I'll watch her leave. It's going to be a sad. You can't help feel that way toward that ship. There'll never be another United States.
36 mooring lines had kept the one-of-a-kind ship safely secured in Newport News for the last 3 years. One by one, they were cut by blowtorch. The Filipinos and Europeans employed by the Dutch towing company doing the work didn't share the emotions of the moment, but you could see it in the faces of the other people here as the United States slowly glided away from the pier. The ship that had been headed toward extinction was making its first move toward a new life with the help of 5 tugs and docking pilot Charles Roughton on board overseeing the action.
you can see better from up there. Somebody has to see where the ship's going, what the tugs are doing, so you got a good perspective from up there.
The shore offered a good perspective for hundreds of local residents as the United States made what could be its final journey ever from Hampton Roads. Kathy Barnsdorf, 13 News, Newport News.
The United States' new owners plan to have a Turkish shipyard refurbish the vessel. It's hoped she can take on passengers again in about 3 years.
Mrs. Tom Connolly, the wife of a well-known...
The SS United States was built in Newport News and christened in June of 1951. For 20 years, the luxury liner sailed the high seas and carried everyone from stars like Bob Hope and John Wayne to President Harry S. Truman and everyone else who could afford her with a touch of class.
The photo is of the Duke and Duchess of Windsor in the 50s. It made a crossing. This is the king who had abdicated in 1938-39.
The Mariners Museum in Newport News has housed a lot of the collection of SS United States memorabilia. In fact, the massive propeller out front is of the SS United States.
Honey, I'd love to get you on a slow boat to China.
When the ship's furnishings originally went up for sale, a Newport News doctor purchased enough to furnish a restaurant. Sarah Forbes opened up Windmill Point Restaurant in Nags Head 38 years ago and turned it into a mini museum of the SS United States.
I guess I'm passionate for this ship because it represents Newport News. It represents my town.
Now, Dr. Forbes has closed her restaurant and donated all the memorabilia to the museum.
And you know, it helps to enrich the future generations, the things that have made us better people, stronger people, and have kept our nation strong, healthy, powerful, and alert. And so I brought it back home.
While the Mariners Museum refurbished the propeller off the SS United States, it may be a while before you see the memorabilia donated by Dr. Forbes on display here, but we will keep you posted. Joe Flanagan, 13 News, Newport News.